Okay guys, here we go. Last video, I promise. I know this week's a little bit long, it's a little bit rough. This is probably, in my opinion, some of the harder material for this class. So we get it right out of the way up front, but you have to do all this sequence and series stuff, and I know the notation can be bothersome. You might have to spend some extra time, I don't know, watching other YouTube videos, looking at Khan Academy or whatever. Do some stuff, or come see me if you're in the area, and we can actually work through some problems so that you're not quite so overwhelmed by the sequence and series stuff if you have questions. So I know it's tough, and if you have questions, you know, shoot me an email. I'll try to get you a video or something. Maybe just a little Edu-Creations video that's fast and dirty, down and dirty kind of thing. So really don't put this off. I know it's rough. Okay. Some things that you should have been doing. You were supposed to read chapter 2 last week. It was part of your homework. So I'm going to tell you, on an exam, I have been known to give a couple of questions that might have been out of the reading in the book. In particular, this book is short and easy, and it's not, oh, sorry about that. It's not too crazy to read. So I know for a fact I'm going to ask a question about the locker problem and how you can figure out the V of N formula. Remember that we talked about that like week 1, week 2, I think it was week 1 even, that we talked about V of N, nu of N was a formula. And I told you to read the book and that it talked about that in there. So you need to go back and read the book and make sure that you have read both chapters, because I would not be surprised if a test question or two, maybe 2 because there's 2 chapters, came out of the book. Okay. Second thing was, you're supposed to tell me which testing center you're using by Wednesday. If you don't tell me that, then I am assuming that you were testing in Commerce. So get that to me. You only got a couple of days to finish that out. Third thing, I am going to send you guys out a review. And I was thinking, instead of making another video, I might also later send you out the key so that you can check your answers. I might make a short video and throw it online. I don't know. I'm kind of pressed for time this week, but I will for sure get you a review and email it out to everybody, and probably drop it into D2L just in case, and get that to you hopefully by Wednesday. That's what I'm shooting for, to get you a review by Wednesday. So you got some time to look at some questions. There'll just be kind of some sample questions, and maybe it'll help ease your mind that, hey, I really did learn some stuff so far, and maybe I am ready for my test. Okay. The test is next week. I'm going to be opening it up on Monday, which means if you're at a different testing center than Commerce, I'll email it out to that testing center on Monday. I will tell them to close it on Friday, which means, and this is a paper and pen test, guys. So you're just going to take it paper and pencil. Pencil, not pen, sorry. That way you can erase. So I'll email it out to whatever testing centers on Monday, and I'll tell them to send them back to me Friday by the time they close. So you have to make sure that you've checked their testing center's policy. What times can they be there? Do they have to make an appointment? Do you have to tell them how long? I sent out an email. I said I'm going to try to make it an hour and 15-minute test. You might want to reserve an hour and a half. I'm going to not put too much of a time limit on it. If you want to take longer than that, you can. I don't think it'll take longer than that. Usually when I make it an hour and 15-minute test, I'm pretty close. I've done this before in this class in real life, so I kind of have a feel for how long the test needs to be to make it an hour and 15 minutes. So I would probably block an hour and a half with them and see what their policies are, if they're going to charge you a fee, and so on and so forth. Okay. The ATC in Commerce is in Ferguson, Social Sciences 308. They do not take appointments. Don't even bother calling. It is a walk-in facility only. Again, you need to give yourself an hour and a half, so do not rock in there at 5:30 on Wednesday and say, I'm here to take Dr. Webster's 372 test, because they are not going to, well, they might let you take it at 5:30, but they're going to rip it out of your hands at 6 o'clock. So don't do that to yourself. Give yourself plenty of time. And most places are this way, but an ID is required at ours. Most testing centers will be that way, and it's got to have a picture ID, I should say, is required. Fridays is 10 to 3. So again, if you want to take it on Friday, watch out, because we are not the only ones who are in the middle of a round of tests. And so you need to make sure that you get in there early enough that if they're packed, you're not displaced and say, oh my gosh, I don't have a seat and I showed up at 2 to take this test and I only gave myself an hour, because I'm unlikely to have mercy on you if that is the case. I am likely to say, well, you should have planned better. And if you wanted to take it on Friday, maybe you should have shown up at 10 a.m. so that you could be sure you'd get in, you know. Since they don't take appointments. So just be aware of that. Okay. Assignments for this week. It's not too bad. It's really just kind of finishing out sequences and doing series. So the participation, I already showed you the stretching sequences. That was really the reason why the first video was so stinking long. It's because I spent so long on stretching sequences. Sorry about that. If you got the point, maybe you fast forwarded. I don't know. Okay, but this stretching sequences, I'm going to load that up. It's a participation grade. So in particular, I'm wanting you to come up with formulas and stuff like that. When it says process, you can kind of cheat. You can say 2 times 1, 2 times 2, 2 times 3. You don't have to write that out in words. So if you can do it in the mathiness, that's okay. Or you could tell me perimeter equals 2L plus 2W, and then so I know this is length is 2, width is 1, whatever. Okay, so that's your participation. Again, on this participation, these are things that you would do while you're following along with me on the videos. So, or while you were in class with me. So I don't expect those to be beautiful. I am literally looking to make sure you did them and maybe you got the formulas right. I'm not so worried about they're perfect. They don't have to be beautiful. Scratch work is okay. You need to have filled in as much of it as you can, but it's not ridiculous, okay? Constructing linear, quadratic, and so on and so forth models on data is this thing right here. And what it is, I'm giving you sets of data and I want you to come up with the formulas. So that's the homework from the first day's stuff. There are only 8 of them, but they're going to take you a little bit of time. It's not like, you know, really fast. You saw how long some of that took me. So remember that you can't just plug those straight into your calculator. I want to see you do some work. And I'm going to say this, probably you need to do this on your own sheet of paper. So I'm going to load these up so you can see what the data sets are. Like here's my XY data set. And I want you to see what the data sets are, but probably there's not enough space on here to work it out. So please just put this on your own pieces of paper, write it out. Here's my X and my Y. Go ahead and do the finite differences. Go ahead and tell me whether it's linear, quadratic, or whatever, and how you know that. Okay, tell me what's going on. It says identify it, which way, and I need some kind of work or something that shows me why you think it's linear. And then write a function that models the data, okay? So, and again, show me something that tells me why you know that's an exponential formula, okay? So I'm going to load that guy up. Your participation for the second day is to email me the answer to a problem, so it should be pretty fast and easy. Here are the series problems from in class. So the problem that you need to be working for me is this one, number 1. You'll see that the bottom one is actually the number 2 that's a lovely picture that I tried to reproduce. We've already done that one. I did it on the video. So you don't have to do this one. Do the top one, number 1. Work that out on your own. You don't have to put it into you don't have to give me Scratch. If you give me your work, that's fine. But all I'm wanting for participation for this one is just a real fast email that has, email me the answer to number 1. Okay, problem number 1, and that's on the series in class problems. So I think they'll be pretty clear what I'm after there. But just email me that and you'll be fine. That's your participation, kind of like I did with the haystacks last week. I just want you to send me something that lets me know you're watching videos, you're paying attention. And then the homework is a sequences and series homework. Okay, and again, I'll load it up. And it's kind of going to put all the stuff together that we've been looking at for the last couple of weeks. So up here you've got some sequences. It wants to know the 25th term. It wants to know the generic term. Down here you've got some sums you got to do. Pay attention because this is your I equals 1 to 6 in this case, for instance. This one on number 7 is I equals 1 to infinity. So be aware. And then there's some kind of word problem-y type stuff at the bottom. That's your homework. Okay? So 4 things that you're getting to me this week. 2 participations, 2 homeworks. Sounds about right. Go forth and prosper, and I will get you a review. All right? Thank you, and have a lovely week. Test next week. Yay! We're so close. It's going well. Have a good one. Take care.